Welcome to another scene from Vampire: The New World, what I'm calling this now. Um, as just a little recap on last session, the Prince's Elysium was burned down by vampires um, from parts unknown, dressed as redcoats. Um, and it interrupted a treaty signing between the leaders of the Anarchs and the Camarilla, um, and nearly killed um, members of several significant independent factions, and actually, in fact, there were some kindred casualties, and a lot of ghoul casualties as well, as they tried to help escort all of the kindred out of the buildings as it was burning. A lot of them got trapped inside and died horrible burning deaths. So the governor's mansion, which is a large scenic hilltop building and estate in the middle of Boston, is no more than a rubble heap with smoke still rising from the charred out foundations. So for the time being, the Nosferatu have extended their protection um, to anyone who wishes to use their Elysium, the Black Swan, which is the pink dot on the map you see here. It's right on the wharf, along some big walls, sea walls. Only a short walk down to the water side, down a steep set of stone stairs. Um, and this is the sign of the Black Swan, sort of. It looks a lot like this. Um, Inside, there's it's pretty rustic. There's a bunch of chairs and small tables centered around a large hearth that, although it is glowing with light and giving off warmth, there's only a circular, or not a circular, a kind of an oval polished stone in the center of the hearth that faintly glows red, white, and yellow. Um, and this place is known to only be accessible to kindred and their ghouls. Uh, Here's what the interior looks like. The barkeep is a black dude dressed in I don't know. He's dressed like a baggy shirt and a brown vest over it and some breeches and buckle shoes, and he is just making conversation with a few people who are here already, kindred of various uh, just various kindred from around the city are here. There's maybe 6 or 7 of them here already, as well as some ghouls. And you guys can enter as you please. But just so you know, PJ, the sheriff, is not here yet.
Jan the Old Crow is just kind of moving around the place, sitting off a little bit to the side, and he'll cock his head and listen to people, and just kind of he just moves around.
All right, so a lot of the talk that you're hearing, just ghouls and maybe an occasional whisper from one of the kindred about, is that one of the Nosferatu um, actually perished in that terrible Elysian fire. One Mr. I think his name was Captain Waters. Yeah, but apparently he perished in that fire, and that seems to be the talk of this particular Elysium tonight.
Okay, cool. Don't say anything to anyone, really. Just like to listen and watch them.
All right.
All right, the doors would open, and Leger de Rochambeau steps in. He kind of stands in the doorway for a while. His hands are kind of like both out, examining the room, kind of resting, and his head turns from left to right as he steps in.
There's like a flash of lightning behind him.
And I walk in, not like I own the place, but like I can hold my own. My shoulders are fairly square. My hand is on the my saber, almost like a cowboy would have on his gun. My fingers kind of tapping against it, like I'm ready to quick draw or something. And I'll smile with my handkerchief down. I'll smile towards that black guy that runs this place. Is he well known? Is he a ghoul, or is he just like a freed slave, or what's his story?
You can roll kindred lore
Cool. Got 5 in that.
and like intelligence.
Alright. Intelligence is fairly substandard. Alright, so that's 7 dice. I got 2 successes.
Okay. You know that he is an Assamite of like fairly high acclaim and has been in the New World. Oh, he was actually sired in the colony of Saint Domingue.
Alright, I'll approach him. Do I know his name since I rolled 2 successes, or no?
Yeah. It's Narsul Narme. His last name is Narme, his first name is Narsul.
I'll approach, and I'll nod towards him as I stand near him. Monsieur Narsul, this is quite the place.
Rochambeau.
This is quite the place for a man such as yourself. Your color does not blend well with these people.
That's why I stand on this side of the bar, Mr. Rochambeau.
I understand.
And he taps something under the bar, and it sounds metallic.
I'll tilt my head towards the bar, and leaning in, I'll say, I have heard of this fire that occurred.
You can roll a perception alertness when you like lean on the bar.
Right.
And, like cast your eyes down, I guess.
That's 5 dice for me. I got 1 success.
Alright, you see some sort of like strange large-barreled firearm strapped to the bottom of the bar, or like hanging off 2 like hooks in the bottom of the bar.
I won't put much attention to it, but I will look up at his face as I say this. It is said that Nosferatu died.
Yes. Unfortunately, Brother Leech has left us.
I believe that this fire occurred but moments after I left.
Yes, curious. Even more curious is that no one has been asked to look into you.
I'll turn around and kind of place my elbows on the bar and look around the room.
The old crow is staring right at you.
I'll tilt my head a bit as I'm looking at the old crow, but talking to Narsul. I'll say, I will dispel any rumors. I was not responsible for it, but blessings go out to whoever was. If not for them, this hideous contract, this useless peace might have been reached between the Anarch and Camarilla.
I don't get myself involved with such politics. But if you want my opinion, because the rats haven't asked anybody to go sniffing around about you, I believe you are beyond suspicion.
I simply just nod my head.
He nods his head towards one of the tables in the far back, farthest away from the hearth, and just a candle lit area, and you see Nick Mountbatten, that tall, lanky anarch guy, who Eric's character is friends with, back there waving at you with
Before I
a
go,
tankard in his hand.
before I go there, I'll ask Narsul, still looking at the old crow. I'll say, "Who is this one that looks at me?"
That is the old crow. He's a strange one. He has many cups.
Many cups. All right, I'll launch myself from this bar and approach the old crow.
Okay, the old crow will stride to meet you in the middle. He's kind of hunched over, and
How old does he look? Does he look like an old dude?
it's very difficult to say because his whole all of his body is covered except for where his eyes sit. There are some spectacles on there, and that's the only part of him that is visible. But he is hunched over.
I know very little about you, old crow, other than you have given a cup to each faction.
Oh yes, I felt it would be good to stay goods with everyone, yeah?
Yes, you know what plays both sides, the merchants, but you do not seem like one.
Oh no, I like to keep to myself. It is better this way because I am very odd, and people don't generally like odd things.
Very well, you may claim yourself to be odd, but it is usually the opportunists that just choose the winning side when most convenient. I hope you will
Ah,
not be one of these.
what do I care of who wins and who loses? It's all the same.
One side fights for liberty, I say loudly, and freedom for all, not these abominable taxes and the crushing weight of the king.
Well, that's a wonderful point. However, still, it means little to me because I don't pay the king anything, and I don't give taxes to the governor, and I don't do anything other than sit out in my woods and occasionally talk to other kindred.
Evan, if you want, you could have entered during Ziggy's thing and heard him and PJ's follow-up.
God save the king, Mr. Rochambeau.
I'll turn dramatically towards you.
You see the same kindred who entered with such fanfare at Princess Elysium, flanked as he is by 4 female attendants, all of whom have identical faces and all of whom appear to be very heavily armed. He's smiling with a very kind of easy smile, and he gives you a very polite half bow, looking rather sincere while doing it.
Some people go like, "Here, here," when you say "God save the king" or "God save the king," and then some people just jeer.
The old crow will say, "Which god?"
Pondering that for a moment, he will answer, "Whichever god you deign to follow, my friend. May they all save the king."
Well, if he's worth saving, I suppose so.
The king is too far away. His mind and his words take months to get here to the New World. Only the people in red secret coats, they rule us like the iron-fisted aristocracy, while the people here have no say.
Very calmly, reaching into his pocket, the Ventrue withdraws a golden sovereign, a coin, upon which is struck the image of King George, and he will simply say, "The king may be far away, however, he watches and he sees all, and this, Mr. Rochambeau, is the source of his power." With that, he'll nonchalantly pass the coin to the bartender, and he will simply say, "Drinks for the house on me, please, barkeep, and take one for yourself, of course."
He'll he'll look down at you for like a long couple of seconds. He's like a pretty tall dude, and then he just slides the coins across the counter towards him and like into his apron pocket, and not like a full apron, that little half apron that fucking bartenders wear, and
Yeah.
he'll I guess like the ghouls and stuff will come up to the bar and he'll pour them all alcohol. And Nick Mountbatten, the Anarch, also comes looking like he looks shit-faced, and he just stumbles up to the bar and like clanks the tankard down. And the bartender looks back at him and he says, "You want another? You want another? Damn, what would you call it at the time? Sandomeg Sunrise, I suppose is what he's gonna call it." And he'll be like, "You bet your black ass." And then he goes into the back. You hear like chickens clucking, and then he comes back with like a frothy tankard that smells heavily of like grain alcohol and chicken blood, and he hands it to Nick Mountbatten.
At this point, if I may,
Yeah.
door swings open. If I may make a little narrative thing here, Jake, can we say it's raining?
Yeah, it was raining before. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, a extremely pallid man leaning on what appears to be like a silver-topped cane enters the room with no head covering at all, so you can see the rain pouring off him. He doesn't seem to care much for it, as though it's not bothering him. And to look at his face, you'd swear he was sick with something. He looks very sickly, very pale. Enters the room with what appears to be a faint limp. Silently walks up to the bar and just mutters, "One drink, please. Make it quick. I don't have long to waste."
Anything in particular, sir?
The best red, preferably house, but do what you can.
I'll see what I can do. And then he nods over at Evan's character and says, "That gentleman has brought rounds for the house, so keep your coin purse closed for now."
Leonardo smiles, turns to the Viscount, and calls over, "Grazie, signore."
He will respond with his same half bow and simply say, "Prego."
He comes back with a cup. And hey, Istvan, you want to roll a perception alertness?
That's
I'm gonna-
nice.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, it's actually, it's identical to the cups that you have given to the prince and the Anarch leader.
Oh, sure.
He pulls out like a pewter goblet or something, or gold or some whatever material it was made of, and
Silver, yeah.
silver. Okay, and he hands it over to you. It's full of blood.
He smiles, raises it in a sort of cheers gesture to the barman, and takes a sip.
Tastes like mulberry wine.
I would love to know what source you had for this. And he walks over without really expecting getting an answer, and sits on a table next to the Viscount.
So, if I may ask, Mr. Should I call you Ro or Shambo? I'm somewhat confused. What is your name?
Leger. I am
Leger.
Leger de Rochambeau.
Very good. So, you hold to the fact that these colonies, these dominions of the British Empire, should be self-governing.
They should rule in their own right, not under the purview and taxation of the king, for they are not represented in your government.
I see. Allow me to perhaps give you something to contemplate. You say that these individuals, these colonists, should have the right to representation, should have the right to speak their mind, etc., before the Parliament and the House of Lords. However, do we, our society, allow everyone to have a voice? No. It is the strong who rule and the weak who follow.
The barman looks over at you, Evan, and he's like, I have some reservations about that assessment.
By all means, please do voice them.
Clearly, the strong are not in power, because even someone who has lived here their entire mortal and immortal life and is in the highest place of prestige among your organization is unable to even protect himself and his guests during a peace treaty signing.
Once again, the kind of the smile doesn't fade. It's it's almost like literally chiseled onto his face, and he will say, "Yes, disconcerting. However, when one was to hold a gathering in good faith, one would often suspect it to be held in good faith. Would you not agree?"
Not when the enemies are as many and as widespread as they are here. The Camarilla does not have as vice-like of a grip on the colonies as it would like to think it does. And with that, the door will open again, and like some more lightning will flash for cinematic effect, and this guy will stroll inside with he's wearing a cloak that he just drops on the floor once he walks inside. And he looks all scary like this, and he says, "Now, come now, Narsul. It is very impolite to speak about politics with company. At least, politics that hit so close to home."
Knowledge Camarilla, maybe, or kindred lore to identify this fine individual?
He is a Nosferatu.
Okay.
Daddy!
He's like, "No. We've been over this. I am not your father. You little twink."
Wait, did you? You're obfuscated. Did you just reveal that you're there, or no? Because
No, I was sitting there. I'm not obfuscated. I'm using level 3. You guys probably don't notice who I am.
Okay, sorry. You were obfuscated to we couldn't see. That's cool.
Oh, that's my bad. I didn't specify. But yeah. You do hear me say that, and I guess you would hear his response as I kind of mockingly reply, "Oh, I know, sir."
You can roll a kindred lore, everyone except Christian, to see who this guy is. Christian, you know who this dude is. I'll let you know after everyone rolls.
No problem.
Okay, can you roll me 9
That's
dice?
I got
That's-
crazy successes. 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
PJ, you got one. So,
Yeah.
well, are you going to roll, Anthony?
No. I was just like leaning back and watching.
Okay. With one success, PJ, you know that he is he's this Nosferatu that is rarely seen around. His name's, I don't know, something with a V. And then everyone else who got successes, more than one, know this is Vulfula Orphalus. And he is a Nosferatu that is rarely seen because he tends to their warrens usually.
He's not their Primogen, is he?
No.
Okay.
Primogen is a guy named Putris.
The old crow will walk past Rochambeau, since they were kind of face to face talking a little bit ago, and he will go to the bar and say, "Well, since the Viscount bought me a drink, I should get one."
Okay. Anything in particular?
Just plain human blood would be fine.
All right, I'll give you the same as I gave the Italian man, says the bartender. And I do have a picture for him, but it won't let me put it up for some reason.
He says, "No, a regular tankard would be fine."
Okay, so he just goes into the back and comes back with like a rusty tankard full of blood.
Cool. He will drink it.
It's like a rusty tankard full of blood.
Yeah, but the blood is not masked or anything, so I know that it's just regular blood.
I'll approach Volfula.
Okay.
May we have a moment, please?
He extends a hand over to a table near the side of the bar.
All right, I'll go sit there.
By the way, he's like straight up naked.
Sweet.
All right.
Right on. So he's like wet and naked?
Yeah.
Awesome. Does he have
And,
pecs and shit? Is he
Yeah,
muscular?
he's real muscular. Like the embrace really didn't really do anything to his body except turn it blue and make his face horrifying, and shrunk his pecker a little bit, and made his testicles really descend like hard-bodied. And he's got some of his toes are fused.
Oh, that's too bad.
He's actually pretty jacked and toned. He's got a sweet six-pack and some tattoos that look like sailor tattoos, like the two birds and like some other stuff.
Like an anchor and shit?
Yeah, if you want, give me just like a straight up, maybe like a wits streetwise or an intelligence streetwise.
Alright.
Whatever's higher.
Wits for sure. I got 0 successes.
Okay, yeah, you don't recognize any of the tattoos.
Alright.
But he just like sits down at a table and like extinguishes the light of the candle that's on the table by like licking his fingers and turning it off.
I have learned that you tend to the Warrens. I wonder why you are out, perhaps lamenting your lost brother.
I forgot the voice I did for this guy. He's like, yes. And it was up to me to assure that defenses were up to snuff.
So you are deep in the pocket of the prince.
No, I serve my clan above all.
I'll nod, and then I'll lean forward just a bit. I'll say I am fairly new here. I was expelled with the Acadians, and I find myself among but a few French in the city of Boston. I do not know the kindred here. They elude me. I will say that there are certain kind that seek my head, and I theirs in turn. I must know if you are willing to offer the names of the Ventru and Tremere in the city, so that I may know who to avoid and who to persecute.
He nods at you, and then he like looks over towards Evan's character, Evan's ever so slightly, with his like luminous fucking red eyes, and he's like, "Well, there is a Ventru who is buying drinks on the house moments before I was about to offer them." He says as he like leans into you with the hand like on the side of his nose and mouth.
I will not drink from a cup bought by a coin with the king's likeness. But if you offer me a drink, then I will take.
Follow me if you're not squeamish.
Right, I'll follow him.
But
I'll be as soon as I get up, I'll be given the Viscount this like purposeful look, like I'm sizing him up.
He will very calmly raise his glass, and he will say, "We shall no doubt meet again, Mr. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name."
I will have to do something for you to remember it, for you to have my name engraved into your consciousness, Ventru.
Yes, well, I'm sure that if you continue to wear those ghastly shoes, it shall one day stick.
I think that your white boots are very tasteful, Lord Rochefort.
My thanks. They are from France.
Daniel.
They are certainly a statement.
Yes, back at it again.
If he's leaving, by the way, Barton, this pudgy man, not like at all what he was at the Elysium, will follow behind as he wanted to speak with him as well, but doesn't know what them two are going to do.
Yes, the fat man again, Brother Barton.
You know how I don't want everyone to figure me out. He laughed sourly. Not fetish, I promise. You think these things of me, always joking.
This is the land of liberty. You don't have to promise me about your weird things. Speaking of which, follow us if you want to see something weird.
Okay.
And if you're thirsty. Thirsty and in the mood for something weird. Those are the only requirements.
He follows kind of just haphazardly.
So this jacked, naked Nosferatu lifts up the bar and like ushers you guys through like behind like where all the bottles and stuff are through the door that Narsul kept going through. And in there, there's just like cages and cages of all kinds of different animals, and like a big copper like weird tank that is on. It's like hooked up to some gears, and there is like a monkey with the top of its head open, so its brain is exposed, like grinding or like turning this big like grinding sounding winch to power the gears to keep this tank like flipping over and over like a paint mixer. And then there is like some hay that this naked Nosferatu kicks to the side, and there is a trap door underneath that he opens up, and it's all dark, and he starts climbing down a ladder into the darkness, and you can see like his glowing eyes light up the dark like flashlights.
I'll look at the pudgy man, and I'll gesture to the monkey, and I will say, might I inquire about the monkey?
That was actually it was commissioned from your copper works by Volfula Ulfilus himself. It was made to store a bunch of human blood, and when the monkey is turning it so that it doesn't like coagulate into goo and it stays liquidy.
Is this monkey? I was actually the one who made it specially for, and I say his name, and I explained just as you explained to Leisure what it does. It's quite fine work. It was tough to maintain, but just the right specs, and it stuck. Volfilla, yes, Volfilla.
All right. I don't ask about why the monkey doesn't have the top of his head. I'll descend. Just what?
Truly, I don't know either, as I said behind you.
You can see that Volfila has picked up some sort of like little candelabra at the bottom of at the bottom of these steps, and his flashlight-like eyes also sort of light up the dark a little bit. And you're in like a long dirt corridor that you can tell by looking at the floor and like the walls and stuff that it's very, very slightly is at like an incline going down lower into the earth. And there's all kinds of like roots and mosses and stuff growing in here. And every like couple hundred meters or so, like every let's say like 200 meters, there's a huge semicircular dugout aperture in each side of the wall with like a bunch of bars in it, and you can hear like animals or creatures of some kind moving around within them, and like sometimes you'll see like claws like stick through the bars and try to like grab at you, or you'll hear like weird things, and sometimes like blood will just spit out in little like piles and puddles outside the front. And then in a couple of them you just see like hundreds and hundreds of beady little bright red eyes.
Look there. I point towards the beady eyes. I'm assuming they're rats, but I might be wrong.
They're like not coming closer to the light. They're just you can just see like all these little tiny bright red eyes glowing from the dark in one of the cages. Or the little like cave jail cells that he's got built. But he continues walking down for like a real long time, and then he says, "Unfortunately for you, Mr. Rochambeau, the thing I want to show you is through this chamber," and he points to like a wooden door built into the wall. I hope that you aren't too squeamish.
I do not turn my back to anything.
Good, good. And he opens up the door, and there's like you can see there's like a little step that goes down, and he goes in, takes a little step down, and drops with like you hear like this wet splash accompanied with some weird like crunching sounds, till he's like he's up to like his chest in some kind of like black sludge, and as you look closer, as he holds the candelabra up, it's like filled with bugs and like weird slithering things and leeches and slugs and all kinds of shit. This is our spawning pool. Not many outsiders have seen it.
It's like home.
It's a drop, you said?
Yeah, it's like a little drop when you step into the room. It looks like just like a step down onto a black floor, but then you realize that black floor is actually like chest deep black sludge of some kind.
Right. I jump down.
Okay.
Oh no, his white shoes!
Yeah, your white shoes get filled with this like black ichor and like crush. You feel like bugs crush everywhere, and it's actually really fucking horrendous. You should probably roll courage.
All right.
Do I roll courage as well, or am I used to this?
Yeah, you can roll courage if you want to go in there. You don't usually go in there. It's really like,
Six,
vocal with
six,
things.
6.
Like it starts raining blood, and like a red strobe light comes on, and Slayer comes in there, and Rob Zombie tells you that you are the inspiration for his music.
Sweet.
All right, but you stay stoic.
All right.
Beelzebub.
I got 1 success.
All right, you're like pretty skeeved out, but you don't like run away. So he has you like wade across this like probably like 2 football field size like length room of this disgusting bug shit till you get to a little another little like doorway that he opens up. He climbs up and like shakes the bugs off of him and holds the door open for you guys. And it's a stone room with a bunch of torches that have similar gemstones in them as that thing in the hearth upstairs that just give off like a faint amount of red light. And in the center of the room there is a like wrought iron high-backed chair, and in the middle of the chair is like a desiccated, almost skeletal corpse, but it still has like mummified skin on it. It's got like cobwebs in the eye holes and like this weird, horrendous, segmented, almost like intestine-looking tube coming out of its mouth, with little like leech teeth on the end of it. And then in the center of its like chest, which has been burst open, its belly and chest have burst open, there's just this huge, ropey, wrapped up, also intestine-looking mass of tissue that's pulsating red and dripping with blood. And he like Volfulus walks over to the podium or the pedestal, and he picks up this stone cup off the floor next to it and grabs the tube coming out of the thing's mouth and squeezes it into the cup and like throws it back. And then he does it again and he hands it to Barton.
I look towards Shambo and I say, "We're going to sacrifice you." He lifts up the the cup.
What? I step back and draw my blade.
I stand behind all this. I jest.
Not funny, not funny.
I sheathe my sword again. It's suspicious that both of you.
Drink this so that Mr. Rochambeau knows that we mean him no harm.
Of course. I take part and
It's like
finish it.
deliciously sweet vitae that it tastes like whatever your favorite fruit was in your mortal days. And also it makes you have like this nice warm feeling in your stomach and chest and throat when you drink it, as if you had like just eaten a hot bowl of delicious porridge and drank like some nice mulled wine after a day of sledding. You get like that nice feeling wash over you.
Oh my god. This is I don't remember this at all. This is I look towards Rochambeau. Please partake.
He squeezes another cupful of it out of this fucking weird tube.
It's like grapefruit.
Grapefruit? Well, you won me over. I love grapefruit. I'll reach for the cup, and I'll give it a smell first. Where's this tube connected?
It's like the tube is coming out of the skeleton, or out of like the weird mummy's mouth, and then it's connected to this weird pulsing mass of tissue that's bursting from its chest and belly that
Alright.
seems to be saturated with blood.
Who is this seated man? Before I drink.
One of Brother Putris's subjects that was not up to snuff. So he donated his body to me.
Donated willfully, I hope.
Well, he was dead.
Ah, I understand. I drink it.
And as you're drinking it, he just starts going on. First of all, it's absolutely delicious. Like I said, it tastes like your favorite fruit, and then it gives you the feeling of like. Do you have any kids? Your character, or has he ever had any kids? in his lifetime?
Probably throughout the land.
It gives you like the same feeling as knowing that like one of your sons from long ago became the best fucking fox hunter in all of France. It's just like this swelling like fatherly pride that like I did good with nothing but my dick.
I feel great pride and I'm smiling as I
Yeah.
finish the drink.
But as he's telling you that, he's like, so, he starts explaining to you about bloodworms and how through like generations of feeding bloodworms off like different rotting animal corpses, he figured out that people are the best, and he was able to, through generations of breeding them in the spawning pool that you guys just walked through, develop a kind that gets really huge and can break down a mostly fresh body over weeks and weeks to produce its own like delicious filtrated blood that gives off the most positive emotions ever developed by that human.
Most interesting.
And of course, some artifacts donated by Brother Putris helped the process to be expedited.
Thank you for bringing me into your confidence to taste such delicious treat.
Yes. You think that this guy Wolfalopoulos, he's a pretty good dude, and you don't really mind that he's all naked and made you wander through bug water.
No, I'm actually quite happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get a point of like vampire vita in your system.
sweet. Thank you, bro.
Brother, I wanted to speak to you as I finish the drink. About so good. The our fallen brother. I forget his name off the top of my head.
You son of a bitch! Starts beating you down.
No, I'm sorry.
That was my
have-
dad!
I have amnesia. Stop beating me.
I'm gonna teach you to speak English with this knife. No, he doesn't really. It was Brother Leech.
Yes, Leech.
Yeah, he just like he does the sign of the cross, and looks to the floor when you say the name.
I suppose we have no extra information yet.
He was caught in the blaze, and it is yet to be determined who is the source. Aside from those with British loyalties, I looked into some of the uniforms that were found at the scene, and they were all very genuine, and also of ranking members of the Royal Navy.
Should I inspect the shipyard, or have you sent anyone in that direction?
I have been too preoccupied with safety matters. If you would like to do that, then I would be
Please.
most appreciative.
Please
And
let me.
course, yes. Anything, you don't need to ask permission to help the clan. Being proactive is what we need nowadays.
Yes, being outside of the Ivory has helped me form a better understanding of everyone involved, but I still want to be polite in my negotiations. I, 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 I'm thankful for you being so what's the word um, nonchalant.
Save it for Thanksgiving, you little fruit. I'm just kidding, he doesn't say that.
You're such a kidder as he looks awkward in front of Rochambeau.
Oh boy. Okay. He's like, no, of course. And if, of course, Mr. Rochambeau, or Lord Rochambeau, the clan would ever be appreciative of any information you come across regarding the burning of the Elysium and the death of our brother. We compensate well. In many different ways.
I will endeavor to spread the word in your direction if I ever find anything. Though my priority is liberty.
Clearly, the British feel some sort of way about that. As do our enemies. Come, let us rejoin the party.
Let's.
Is there an easier way up?
No!
Oh, okay. I squeeze the thing one more time to get a little bit more out before I join you guys and leave.
Alright. You can sit there and just like yank on that tube, suck on that hose for sweet, sweet juice for as long as you'd like.
Nah, just a bit more.
Alright, so I mean, you give the tip a couple of little lip smacks, and you head back through the gross pond of bugs. You guys are all soaked in bug juice when you come back.
But Mr. Rochambeau, your shoes. You didn't have to take my advice so quickly.
I'll glance down at my ruined. I guess they wouldn't be ruined. They'd be like brown shoes now, probably.
Yeah.
They go from white to brown to red.
Ah, yes. First it's white, the color of surrender, then it's brown, the color of shit, and then it's red, the color of patriot blood that does spill upon the brown. How poetic.
I don't think the English were murdering quote-unquote patriots in 1770.
Depends on which side you're patriotic to.
Oh, I mean, so like,
go on, Jake.
he said something about like the British killing their own. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, Leonardo
From that explanation.
Yeah, Leonardo looks over at the Viscount and smokes and goes, "In my experience, usually it is blood that goes before the shit. But then again, perhaps I've been around more corpses than you." And
However,
at that point, he makes a point of like gesturing with his right hand, on which there is a rather ornate, what appears to be steel and gold ring bearing the G of Clan Giovanni.
As I sit down on the bar, I say, "Don't you shit right before you die?" So the brown stands at second.
Right after, my friend. You die first, you bleed. Only later, as you decay, do your bowels fail?
What if you die of just old age? You don't bleed. You just die.
Even then? Ah, you need to be around more rotting corpses, it seems. Come to the Lone Wolf. I have a mortuary being established. I will happily show you some dead things. And he has a genuine grin.
I smile back, and this, I guess, what was it, a goblet? That I have, I gestured towards you and like, yeah, cool. I'll stop by. I say.
Oh, Master Giovanni, our friend here does not need any advice in making men into corpses. I'm led to understand he's rather the expert.
How so? And he leans forward.
If you're leaning forward to me, I point towards Leisure. Not me.
Okay. So rotate slightly.
Sorry, I'm Zig. I'm assuming the whole hunted like a dog thing and all that jazz is public knowledge.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I got fame of one too, just in case. So,
Okay, cool.
the minute I said my name, you might have remembered that I'm a horrible murderer or something.
In that case, a distinct smile. Monsieur Rochambeau, please come along to the Long Wharf sometime. I have some business that you might be interested in.
Business, you say? I'll look you over. Do you look all fancy?
He looks like a fairly wealthy merchant, but he's not wearing any of the colours or stars you've ever seen on British people. He has a not quite a flamboyant style, but it's definitely a more Franco-European style than it is English.
Do you clearly look like Italian, or?
Oh
or
yeah,
you fail to.
Apart from his skin, he has all the Italian facial features, barring the fact he looks like he's just come down with cholera. He's extremely sickly pale.
I will visit you there, of course, but it will not be arranged. I do not know the people here, in particular the kindred, and I do not know who you are in league with.
I'm in league with myself, my family, and with the dead. Beyond that, I have no allegiances. How else does one run a mortuary? Or import-export, for that matter.
I'll nod towards you, and I will say, I will send many tax collectors your way then.
Very good. I'm sure my family will find exquisite use for them. Now, my dear Viscount, I assume that beyond this gentleman's butchery of your own, you seem to have some other disquiet regarding him, or is it merely a misinterpretation of his rather, how shall I put this, blood-spilling manner?
No, Mr. Giovanni. In many ways, our families are not dissimilar, though I assume that, well, as the low would view the high would view the low. This man has killed members of mine. One day the sword of Damocles will fall. It just does not happen to be this evening.
Surely the sword of Damocles would make him a king, or at least a king in waiting.
Yes, it would. Or a man who would see himself as such.
What do you say to that, monsieur? You see yourself as a king in waiting?
I am not a king. A king does not inspire liberty. Every man has his own fate, and every man must have a word in his life. The land it has enough kings throughout history that have been kings in persecution. This land here is a new opportunity that the people of the world had never seen. A land free of history, where history will be built and it shall be called liberty.
He chuckles a little and says softly, "I do believe there were people here when the discoverer arrived."
I tilt my head slightly. Yes, I
Yes,
have
but they
heard.
never wrote down history. Oh,
I
sorry, I
glance,
didn't hear you.
I glance
Yes.
towards you and I nod. Yeah.
History need not always be written. Did you know it is said that centuries passed between the works of Homer and the time when they were written down? Or have you never bothered reading the Iliad?
Oh, I'm quite well educated, but being so, these natives, I don't believe they will be around for liberty, as good Leger here says. As you can tell, we slowly are wiping them out. It's sad, really, as I take another sip.
Or perhaps in time they will wipe out the, as the British call them, the colonials. Depends who wins the ultimate war, I guess.
Yes, we never know. Maybe they'll come riding in on horses.
I've already seen some rather odd trades going on.
In the end, the colonies exist because the powerful of Europe deem them to be so. I would ask you a question, Monsieur Rochambeau. Have you ever stood in the presence of the genuinely powerful?
I tilt my head at you. Power comes in many ways, but I have stood toe to toe with many that would claim to be powerful.
Ah, but those who claim it never truly are. It is those who are who never claim to be so. For example, I have stood in the presence of the Prince of London, one of the oldest of our kind who has ever lived. He is power because because others deem him to be so, and because he with his own hands carved out a realm that is England. These colonies are a facet of England, of Britain that is his. So I see these colonies, by proxy, to also be his realm.
Avalon Extended. I have read a little of the old Arthurian legends, though you don't get many of them translated. Unfortunate but expensive.
I have never heard the Giovanni to quibble about the lack of coin.
Generally, when it comes to family matters, no, but personal interests, we tend to try and limit unnecessary expense.
I'll approach one of Viscount's lady gun wielding people, and I'll be yeah. Okay.
As you walk forward towards him, they all drop into a very defensive stance in near perfect.
I hold both my hands up, not in like surrender or anything, but the fact that I'm not going to do anything. They're not up like this, but they're more like down to the side. And I'll pick up an empty jug, and I'll look at the Viscount and I'll say, "I hope you do not mind, but I wish to show you why it is that this Prince or King of London cannot control this land of America."
He will nod his head with the bemused look. Yes.
All right. And I'll glance over to Narsul, and I'll like show him like 5 for him to like take out 5 cups or 5 drinks. Do not fill them, my friend. I just need the cups.
Okay. Takes out 5 like wooden cups.
All right. So I give this lady 1 cup, and I'll say, "This is your land of Avalon." And then I'll take another cup and hand it to her. Now I don't know if she's like holding her gun or anything, or if she's using both her hands. But I'm stacking one cup on
both
top
of
of another cup, and in her grasp. And I name the colonies one by one because there's 13 of them at this point.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
like, so I make it obvious that the more cups she holds, the more difficult it is to hold them all together. And as I put, like, let's say, like the 10th or 12th on it, it will be almost impossible for her to juggle them all. And I would assume that the cups would fall.
For dramatic effect, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So as that happens, I glance over to the Viscount, and I say, you see, it does not matter how strong you are, but your reach, the reach can never be infinite. For the king or the prince cannot hold too much. He will need the aid of another, and I look at the girl beside her. No doubt she may pick up the cups, but she is not the original. She is but a minion, a weaker version. It is not England that I seek to claim, or seek to liberate. It is America, and the prince does not hold this cup.
No, you are indeed correct. However, the Camarilla has many hands and holds many cups.
Where's Istvan when you need him?
Wait. This out of character. This landmass was called America, wasn't it? At this point,
Called the colonies.
The
British
colonies?
Yeah, it was.
On a map,
it
it
was
wasn't called.
it was the Americas at this
It was
point.
the Americas. Yeah. I thought so. All right, good.
Oh, my bad.
America,
Oh.
as it's set, America as a place, it was the name of the whole continent. It
Whole
wasn't
continent,
like
yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
So at this point, whenever you're saying like
Makes
this
sense.
land called America, you're effectively saying this land that is the entire continent.
Yeah. Perfect. Yes.
Because Ziggy can't leave out Canada. He's got to liberate that too.
And Mexico and Guatemala. Can we have some Spaniards walk in so they can be pissed off?
Good
Good luck liberating Mexico from the fucking Sabbat.
All right, back in character. The Camarilla, of course, but they are only as strong as their most fragile member. And I will guarantee you that from what I saw of the prince of this city, he is an Indian. His people have been conquered, and most have submitted. So he is but a person that has submitted before.
Very interesting perspective you have. Very interesting. However, I take it, Jake, that like vampires know like vampiric legend, like the fall of Carthage and all that jazz.
If you have like good Camarilla lore.
Okay. Take for a moment you consider Carthage. When my clan, destroyed it. Did we destroy the entirety of Clan Brujah in the process? No. And now Clan Brujah stand with us as part of the Guardians and the... Have we started to call it the Ivory Tower yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's informally.
Stand with us as pillars of the Ivory Tower. Just because you come from a people who are defeated does not mean an individual is defeated.
I nod slowly to that.
Oh, you
I
are
will-
Bruja? I figured a Tory. I continue sipping.
I am a member of True, the Childer of Hallstatt, the inner council member of the Camarilla. To answer your...
I was talking to Shen. I thought you were directing that to him, and I was surprised at him. I know you're a Venture.
Okay.
Because
Then-
you're a dick.
I'm curious.
I think the instant you reveal that you are Holstadt's child, every pair of eyes in the room should immediately look to Rochambeau, as if to say, "We're waiting for you to stab him now, monsieur."
It was pretty public knowledge. I am who I am. I mean, I've got status out the yin yang.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Ziggy,
why not stop?
you're like vaguely aware that this guy is your favorite brand.
Alright, I try to take my mind off of the urge to murder, so I look at the naked Nosferatu for a moment.
All right.
Must not kill.
He's
Must
still
not
got a
kill.
millipede wrapped around his package from the spawning pool.
Alright, oh, nice. It's like thinking of baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Alright.
millipede is wearing a Boston Red Sox hat.
Alright, fight count. I'll say it. Not looking at him, but speaking to him. My head is kind of down, so he sees like the I guess the top of my hat or the side of my hat, depending on how tall he is. Yes, your Camarilla has reached, and the Bruja have folded most of them. But I will still say that those that were there at this fabled Carthage, and those that surrendered, if they are still, or if they have ever been with the Camarilla, then they hold defeat in their heart, and they have given up on liberty. The rest only hear of stories.
My question. I actually have two. To what family do you belong?
Not all of us fucking surrendered, you stupid foppish prick.
And who to address me such, sir?
I'm Nick Mountbatten, the clan fucking Brewjar. And you can suck my colonial dick.
As he gets antsy, the girls immediately drop into the same combat stance again.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have your women start a riot inside an Elysium? Yeah, typical of a Ventru, you fucking classless pig.
Oh, this is an Elysium. I shout out, what?
This is your Elysium, you fucking retard.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! I didn't know that.
And I'm pissed off fucking grain alcohol and chicken blood, and even I'm behaving myself better than you foppish. Oh, would you
Yes.
call yourself a yin yang? That's right. That's what you are. You're a
I-
foppish yin yang.
He raises a hand very calmly and smiles, and he says, I do hope you're enjoying the drink paid for by the king's crown.
I've not been paid for by you, you fucking asshole. Me and Nassau go back a long way. You think just 'cause you wander in here with your fancy titles and whatever kind of silk bloomers you've got from the Orient, you're better than everybody? Well, let's see if that protects your fucking knees from a lead pipe in the parking lot.
First of all, sir, what the hell is a parking lot?
It's where you park the carriages. A lot for parking carriages.
I always thought that was a stable.
Oh, well, if you've got enough land and not enough roofs, you use a parking lot.
No, a valid point, sir.
But I digress. Fuck you.
Hey, I am by no
Even
means
though you're also a foreigner.
This is a.
He's,
Are you an Indian? The Giovanni is now standing up, kind of bent.
You didn't say fuck
Are
you
you an
in the first
Indian?
place. Are you an autistic? I wasn't fucking talking to you.
I was commenting when you said "fuck you."
Yeah, not to you, you stupid bastard, and I've said it 4 times now, so now, fuck you.
5.
Oh, I've played this game.
I'm sorry, can I just point out right now, 10 points to fucking Hufflepuff. That was brilliant. Okay, we can breathe.
It'd be kind of a breach of your old promise that you've had signed just a couple 100 years back, unless you're not that old, of course, Mr. Giovanni. If you were to start a big scuffle inside of the Nosferatu Elysium, wouldn't it now, Wolfless? He looks over, he nods.
Leonardo smiles and takes a few steps over, limping with his cane. He goes, "You don't have to remind me of the promise. I was there when the damn thing was signed." Now,
Well, you must have been more
I
pissed than me if you forgot that you can't start trouble in an Elysium. Counting at me. If you want to throw fucking ones, we can go down to the wharf and take our shirts off like men.
Oh no, I don't have to fight you. For a very
That's
simple
right.
reason. You are also bound by your own laws. If you start a scuffle, then, well, it is a
I'm not
matter of
very
internal
cunning
conflict.
with you, am I, you dumb lout?
He did say he was going to take it outside. I mentioned to the Giovanni.
Oh yes, I'm aware. But that is the beauty of it, you see. If he tries anything outside, there is no reason for me not to avenge myself. Therefore, his comments about starting a scuffle
Right,
within an
but
Elysium
you
become
won't
irrelevant.
step outside and fight on equal terms because you're a greasy, low Italian. Both you and Evan should probably have rolled for frenzy several times.
Yeah,
by now.
if I may, I'm actually checking for a specific thing now. Just give me a moment, Jake.
What
This
is
will
the
probably warrant.
You're
This is
being
probably gonna warrant.
openly cursed at and mocked in front of very mixed company in a place that you don't own.
what is the frenzy roll again?
Self-control.
Okie dokie. Difficulty, please.
Oh, let's say 7.
Can I blow willpower or no?
If you fail,
I do not fail. Alexander is completely calm.
I got one success, so I'm holding it together for now. Also, Jake, I now have a necromancy roll to make for a path thing, if you don't mind.
sure.
Let's see. Just want to check something. Make sure I get this right. Okay. So, yeah, he's basically using Compel Soul, and
Well, you need to be
he's got.
talking to a ghost first.
Yes, he has spirit servants. Remember?
Yeah, but like you don't just have ghosts on you, do you?
I was operating on the assumption they were following him around. That's how they were able to be effective.
Have something to tether them to you. So, do you have their physical tethers on you? Their whatchamacallit, the piecing of path. Thank you.
I will, if I may, Jake, say in that case that one of them is following me with a fetter on another hand.
Sure. Okay, so you're taking out the fetter of this thing, and you're gonna start yelling at a ghost.
Not yelling, whispering into the air,
Okay.
essentially.
Sure. Everybody who isn't Anthony can roll perception alertness, or perception awareness, actually.
I'm probably
Yeah.
at a higher difficulty because I'm more listening to what this anarch guy has to say to be paying
I do-
attention to the whisper.
Okay, as far as it's manipulation plus occult, and I'm glad I'm wearing my memento. Okay. That's diff 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, minus 1.
Yeah, the 1 cancels the 10. Okay, so what are you compelling the soul to do?
I'm going to whisper to it, basically, follow the Bruja for the night.
Okay.
Oh, well, we won't be quite follow, it'll be watch the Bruja for the evening.
Okay.
And then having... so. Was that the roll to resist?
No.
That was the roll C, I think.
Ah.
It was just a roll. You guys can speculate on what it was for until you're blue in the face.
Right, yo. At that point, Leonardo will put the ring that's on his boat. Basically, he'll straighten up again and say, through him at large, as much as it's been fun bandying words with you, Mr. If I may, let's just call you Mr. Hater of the English.
I'm Nick Mountbatten of the Anarchs.
As you say, Mr. Mountbatten. And he actually gives us a somewhat flamboyant bow as he says, "Now, with your leave," and he's speaking directly to Mountbatten, "I shall depart this place. I have business to attend to,
Why don't you ask the
specifically in
king
trying to."
see if he'll give you permission? And he points over at Evan. Or the Viscount.
The Viking will come out and say, "You may leave us, Mr. Giovanni."
Leonardo grins for a second at Mountbatten and then turns to the Viscount and says, "My dear Viscount, please do not misunderstand me. As Mr. Mountbatten has shown, the promise still stands. I may respect your station, but I do not obey you." And he gives a slight bow to the Viscount as well, nowhere near as deep as the one he gave to Mountbatten, and says, "If any of you need me, I shall be at the scene of the fire. I suspect there are things I might learn there." And again, with a last sweeping bow, he starts to walk away, his cane clicking on the ground as he walks.
Interesting.
And if no one stops him, he leaves the tavern and starts making his way to the scene of the fire.
As soon as he says there's things he might find out, I go along, I put the drink down, and I look towards Ulfis. I say, "On to business, sir," as I part.
Alright.
Are you going with Leonardo?
Yes.
In that
Whether
case,
you
he
know
will.
or not, up to you.
Right. Yeah. Assuming he knows you're there, he will just nod. He will just nod and walk with you.
Okay, cool.
An extra pair of eyes is an extra pair of eyes.
Alright. So, anyone else have anything to do?
I'm kind of waiting to see if Mountbatten chases after him and beats the shit out of him.
No, he continues to drink chicken blood and grain alcohol.
Oh, by the way, hey PJ, are you here now? Yene, maybe?
Yeah.
Was your character here the whole time?
Yeah.
Because can't you see ghosts and shit?
Yeah.
Okay, you might want to do something about that.
Why?
Anthony has a ghost that's following the Anarch, Nick Mountbatten, and watching him drink chicken blood and grain alcohol. And, like, talk to wenches.
Okay. Do they have like an altercation?
Who?
Nick and the Geo.
Oh, and the Geo was, like, he got miffed because he thought that Nick Mountbatten said "fuck you" to him, and then started counting at him. So then he just got cursed out, and then left. And then he asked Nick's permission to leave, and then Nick was like, "Why don't you ask the fucking Camarilla guy?" And the Camarilla guy was like, "You have my permission to leave." And the Geo was like, "But the promise," and then left to go search the ruins of the Princess Elysium.
Oh, okay.
After sending a ghost to follow this guy who's still here.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, it really has absolutely no bearing, but since Evan insisted, I brought you up to speed.
Okay. I don't care. Is the sheriff ever come in?
He comes in now, I suppose.
Alright, as soon as the sheriff comes in, I will make my way out.
Okay.
Don't want to be in the same room as that guy.
He like fucking sneers at you as you leave.
Alright, as he sneers at me, I'll tap my saber's hilt. And I'll kind of walk around him kind of like this, with my hands on my hips, just kind of like walk around him facing him.
You know, tapping your saber and glaring at someone is paramount to demanding a duel, right?
Well,
This guy rips you apart, Ziggy. You can't go. You gotta do half an hour.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. What's your initiative roll?
1,000,000.
All right, he gets 5 million.
Fuck. He's better than me. My power reader breaks.
It's like you get glass in your eye, and you suffer 9 unsoakable wounds.
All right, but seriously, I do tap my my blade just to show, just for show, that I'm not scared of this guy.
He just kind of his fingers kind of curl audibly, like the bones crack as his fingers curl into weird little kung fu tiger claws.
And I back out the door, kind of with my eye on the interior of the place, and I'll lower my hat as I turn a corner.
Yeah, he watches you go, and you can see his luminescent protean eyes watching you through the piercing rain. The rain's coming down in sheets now.
Sweet.
But he goes and he sits down next to the old crow at whatever table the old crow is at, and says, "Pardon me for my lateness. There were complications on my way here."
This is fine. So I wanted to talk to you about the nature of the favor owed.
I'm sorry, the nature of what?
The favor that that is owed.
Yes. What do you have to say?
I sought out an elusive target and saw to his docile capture. Would you see this as would you see this as possibly a major and a minor boon?
He leans into you and I forget. Did we talk about this before?
He definitely said I should be owed boons. He's like, yeah, we definitely owe you, but right now I'm more focused on getting the guy. And then so the nature of the.
Can you explain this to me? Because I'm completely drawing a blank as to what even the fuck you're talking about.
The guy who was who chased Nick away, I led them to where he was staying in a shack.
Oh, right.
And then I made him stay lapsed there, not doing
That's
it.
who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a matter you would need to take up with the Harpy, but I think that a major boon from the Camarilla and a personal boon from myself should be sufficient, no?
Oh, yes, that is fine, yeah.
He nods. Very well, I should pass it along the channels.
And the old crow will kind of tip his hat to him. Oh, yes, very good then. Let me know if you need more assistance.
Yes, I will send word for you if I need your skills. Then he goes and he talks to Volfos for a couple of seconds, and then leaves.
After finishing his drink, Harkin will stand and gesture for his attendants. He will give the old crow a respectful nod before making his way to the door. One of the attendants will step forward with and open a parasol, and she'll fall in step behind him as they walk out into the rain.
Come again. Viscount Alexander Hucken.
We will be most happy to do so. And he will give another very polite nod before they start making their way back towards the bank.
The naked dude, like, full bows at you.
Am I getting jumped on the way home?
By who?
I don't know. In your games, Jake, it's always good to ask if you're getting jumped.
Yes, now you are.
Yay!
Alright. It's 8 werewolves.
Oh no.
Right. Eight werewolves and a werewolf archmage. Okay, I can do this. I can totes do this.
None of them are mages. They're just 8. They're 8 rank 6 werewolves, and they kill you.
There's only one thing I can do, and that is, headbutt them for 1,000,000 ag damage. That's all I can do in this situation.
They soak 1,000,001 each, and they kill you. So make a new.
Oh, that was always going to happen.
This
I
is
mean,
canon. This is canon. They kill you, and you're dead for life. You can't make any new characters, and anyone who is from Ireland is not allowed to play this game anymore. Canon. I'm posting it. It's canon. Very well. Good night.